The best way to plan is without distractions of the day-to-day. Today, Molly takes you through strategic retreats. Here's your host, Molly McGrath.
Let's do this. Let's dive in. All right, I'm going to walk you step by step by step. Pre, during, post. No excuses. You have the system. So you're going to schedule your quarterly strategic retreats. My recommendation is now for the entire year. Set it and forget it. But don't just put them on the calendar. My recommendation is your weekly stakeholders meeting. Give everybody your suggested times. Ideally out of the office. Ideally because we're not taking breaks and checking email there's too many distractions in the office. And there are tips here for how to facilitate it and what to do before. A lot of people like to do them on Fridays, end the week with a high, and then be able to go enjoy your weekend and being pumped up and knowing that when you come in on Monday, the critical team member is going to take the 4 power projects and manage it. We have growth days on Fridays to be able to implement and actually achieve these future-based goals, to actually reach our future-based self. So we're really excited about the framework is there. So give the suggested dates to them. Give them a deadline. Human beings need due dates and deadlines to get back to you. Check school calendars. A lot of times those dates aren't out. Schools are terrible with giving you dates like, oh, by the way, parent-teacher conference is tonight at 6. Oops, we forgot to send the email. We know. But for knowing what you know right now, you know the breaks when kids are on holidays and breaks and things of that nature. And you also know your vacation days. Oh, that's my daughter's 4th birthday. No, things of that nature that you're just not going to miss. And of course you're not, because hopefully in your core values somewhere, we have, family first within there. So it's at least on there. And if we have to change the date when we get closer, great. But that it's set. Now we have the internal retreat prep form. As a team leader, you want everybody to be able to fill this out. This is the pre-work. So the pre-work is making certain that we have it set on the calendar, and then we're also going to be doing the prep. So I'm going to walk you through each step, each tool in the process. We're going to send this out to everyone. Every voice matters. Every person needs to submit theirs, and they want to come to you, not to the attorney, so you can do the compilation. But I want you to see how this is already giving you the agenda for your power projects. This is already giving you your strategic projects for the quarters. You're going to see themes. You're going to see where there's echoes of the same things. What are our firm's strengths? What are our firm's weaknesses? What are our firm's opportunities, possibilities that are open to you, trends that we could take advantage of, competition, economy, what have you. As a firm, if we could do the following and complete, finally, from start to finish, that the firm would be rocking and rolling. You want to hear this from paralegals to intake to marketing coordinator to legal assistant, everybody, because you will see themes. I promise you, it is not going to be, if you have 5 people on your team, 5 completely random different things where you're like, there's no way. If you have rockstar team members, they're all going to have the same perspective in some regard just from their seat. As a firm, if we could do the following. Oh, I already did that one. Okay, number 5. Rate the following on a scale of 1 to 5. Effectiveness of weekly stakeholders meeting, effectiveness of weekly marketing meeting, knowing what our quarterly goals and our 4 growth projects are. That's probably going to be close to a 0 if this is the first time you're doing this. Reviewing our quarterly goals again in our weekly team meeting. But when you're doing this in next retreat, you should see some high numbers in here. Effectiveness of training, coaching, and feedback from our direct report, supervisor, attorney, what have you. What I love about this, because when you get this back, And the effectiveness of the weekly marketing meeting, even if I'm not sitting in it, I'm a paralegal or associate attorney or what have you. Even if I'm not sitting in the meeting, I know the impact and the effectiveness because of the weekly data and analytics, because of the weekly stakeholders meeting where we're getting the update. Just being in the room and hearing that we've doubled our leads and they're qualified and our hire rate is, typically 50%, now it's at 70%, what have you. Just hearing the data and analytics, I know it's an effective marketing meeting, even if I'm in post-engagement and post-production as a paralegal. In addition to that, I'm not like, who the hell is doing all this work? I'm overwhelmed, what have you, because we're having conversations about breakdowns and bottlenecks within our KPI tracker. So I'm excited there's opportunity for growth. I could become a senior paralegal. All the different things. I can now move into client meetings versus sitting in the back dealing with paper. You get the point. So it's exciting. You want that number, even if I'm not in that meeting. You don't want to see, doesn't apply to me, NA. No, you want to eventually get to the place where your numbers are 5 or higher. And then I wish, this is incredibly vague for that reason, because this will give you the opportunity when you're doing your first retreat. If you're seeing not much here, then we maybe have a culture or a collaboration problem, or people aren't even connected to the vision. They're not connected to the why. They don't understand true north, and that's okay. But as your first retreat, you're looking for clues like this. You're like, but when there's a tremendous amount written here, you're like, people, the firm's in their bone, in their blood. They are invested. They are empowered. They are engaged. They are enrolled. So that's what you're looking for, is some depth to what they're putting here. And you want to see that, because I have managed firms before where I get these reports back, especially if I'm coming in as a fractional consultant for law firms. And this is the first assignment I have them do. I can tell immediately what's going on in the firm by this one question, by question number 6 and number 7. 1 year from now, I will be thrilled if I could be doing the following in this law firm. These 2 questions alone will tell me everything, even if I never talk to a person in that law firm. If I literally sent out an email and just sent this, it would tell me where I have work to do. So it's exciting. Don't get deflated or upset or make up stories or head trash that people aren't engaged. They don't care if they don't put anything here. You're like, all right, this is very telling. This is why we need a quarterly strategic retreat. So then you get all these back. Now next tool, we're at retreat day. There has to be an agenda. There has to be an agenda that is facilitated and led by the non-attorney. So again, easier edit than to create. Make this your own. But here's a framework that is tried, tested, and proven. And you want to make certain it is clear who is serving as a facilitator for the session and responsible for taking notes and the follow-up actions, and then also handling the preparation. Like I said, out of office, ideally, if that's not possible, we want to make sure lunch is pre-ordered before we even start the day. We're clear on what time it's coming. Everybody, if we're passing around menus, whatever we're doing, that's handled, it's done. And all materials are printed and ready for you to go to eliminate any interruptions and roadblocks. We are prepared walking in there. Everybody has an agenda. Everybody has a copy of whatever they need when it comes time for the kickoff. And this is the only role the attorney plays for the most part in here, where they are standing at the front. So this is a preparation the attorney will need, and maybe you're doing this together, where they're giving a State of the Union, a quarter or a year in a review. The only difference is we do the year in December at year end. Talking about the greatest win within the firm, vision for the next quarter or year, or both together. So we want to anchor into the wins and the celebrations, and then where we're headed and where we're going. Spending about an hour within this. As you start get rocking and rolling in this, there's going to be a lot more depth to this. But if your attorney is really struggling with this, if your attorney is a high fact finder, again, you anchoring to that weekly marketing meeting, they could be anchoring to the data and analytics and bringing that up. The growth that we had in leads, getting our marketing refined, whatever it might be, having our team and law firm admin bootcamp. Now we have this entire structure for hourly, daily, weekly, quarterly, monthly, quarterly, and annually. There's no more guesswork. Really just giving that. And then going into revenue and goals, analytics compared to the previous quarter, and or for annual, you do year end. Now, you may not share revenue in regards to, and I'm not saying revenue is opening up books. Some people, their goals are attached to number of hires a month or attached to revenue goals, and or a combination of both. Know your firm, get clear with your attorney where their comfort level is in regards to that. I'd say 95% of the firms I work with, they share both revenue and hire rate in regards to that. When we get into the incentive-based compensation plan, the sample model is going to be about revenue. And again, revenue does not mean opening up QuickBooks and showing all of that. It just, this is true north and this is our goal. And then we're going to do challenges and opportunities in each area. And we're going to go through the business, marketing, sales, new clients, PNCs, process and experience, existing clients, check and engagement agreement, process and experiences, team roles and responsibilities, and production. This is your compilation as a team leader. When you get all of that pre-homework back from your team, that you're going to do compilation. I'm going to talk about your time template and mapping this out so you have time dedicated to work on this. But your pre-work that you're getting from your team is going to give you all this data and information. You're just going to compile it. You're the critical team member. You're leading the weekly stakeholders meeting. You're leading the daily huddle. You're leading the weekly marketing meeting. So you already know this. You already have it, and then you're just getting the voice of the employees, your internal client, when you get all the pre-work back. Then we're going to have our lunch. It's coming at that time, pre-ordered, delivered at designated time. And then we're working, and this will change. This will change a lot. But for your first one, I really want you to walk out of there with a brain dump. And while you have the attorney's time and attention in that room, to work on your incentive-based compensation bonus structure and your ideas when we complete the growth projects, the 4 power projects. And I'm going to go into how to do that in the final and next module. But I want you to do this now while you have time together. This agenda will evolve as retreats start going on. But for your first one that you're really running like this, let's walk out of there with this declared and decided, especially because we just declared the revenue goal as a team for the upcoming quarter or year, depending on the time of year when you're doing this. And then from that place, you're deciding which 4 power projects, what goes into your future self for your next retreat. So you want to get all the ideas, do a brainstorming sprint. You already have that pre-homework that has identified and supported you a lot. You've already spent, an hour and a half on the challenges and opportunities based on the pre-work and the team adding anything else that. So when it comes time for your 4 power projects that you're going to work on, and I'm going to talk about when you're going to get those done, don't worry about that, and future ideas for the next retreat, You must decide and declare. And then you're going to use the Power Projects Key Elements tool, which I'm going to show you here in a minute. And then we're going to do a check and balance out that, do a weeding out process to make sure it's achievable. We are committed, we are excited, we are invested, and we have the resources to be able to pull this off. We don't want to set ourselves up for failure. That's what I hear over and over and over again. As I said at the beginning of this module, spend all this time, it's a big kumbaya fest, feels like an Oprah moment, and then we walk out of the room and nothing happens with it. So why bother? It's a complete waste of time. And so when people are walking in the room, they're not even excited about this because they know nothing's going to happen with it. So we're eradicating that from the walls of your law firm. You want to make sure that team members are active participants in this. They have some energy. There might be some heated conversations. And I don't mean heated like, throwing knuckles, but like really passionate about this one needs to be on it this quarter because if we don't fix this, here's a cause and effect. So we're incredibly clear on that. And everybody understands when we come to the ultimate decision, why the decision is made to put this on there. Whether it's new computers, CRM, technology, automations, whatever it might be, we're going to narrow down the 4 power projects. We're going to run it through the key elements that I'll go over on here in a minute, and everyone gets buy-in, clarity, and excitement. I might be a paralegal, and I have nothing to do with marketing, but I know this big project to launch workshops or launch Facebook ads or what have you. I'm okay. I'm in agreement that this should be on there because not just about there needs to be something that's going to benefit my department because guess what? That will. We're getting more leads. We're getting more work. So you're not going to be able to do it all. So your growth that you want to be able to start handling client meetings or whatever it might be, you're okay with ramping up marketing and you might not be doing anything with this project for this particular project over this quarter. However, in the background, you're going to make sure you get your Loom training videos, your SOPs are pristine, and that you're streamlining them because guess what? Once this deploys this quarter, we got to hire your replacement, and guess who has to train them? You, paralegal. So you're running in your head your own little sidebar project, and it's probably declared in there, okay, you've got to work on your SOPs in the background, and that's kind of like your individual KPI and project that you're working on. Run the clock, race the clock, run the timer. This is critical. When it comes to brainstorming, when it comes to identifying projects, when it comes to identifying your incentive-based compensation plan. As you can see, this is a tight agenda. So we really want to spend no more than 15 minutes per project on there. Walking out with the 4 power projects, clarify, verify, declaration, and commitment. And then, of course, we will always do an end-of-day debrief. Each person must share what they got out of the day, the thing they're most excited about, what they're taking away from our day together in the retreat. And as a team leader, you really want to capture this. And then a sidebar note is to add time on your weekly stakeholders agenda to check in on your quarterly strategic roadmap. You might need 15 minutes more. Pay attention to it when you walk into the next weekly meeting, because on the agenda, as you can see on the weekly stakeholders meeting, there's time for quarterly strategic roadmap and projects to track where we're at with that. In the beginning, you might need extra time because this might be new for you. And it might take a minute to give the update, clarify, verify what came out of the retreat, make sure that we're cementing everything, and then we could bring it into our power day or growth day and really identifying which one we're tackling first, which ones can be running at the same time. So when it comes time for your power projects, So we identified them before we decide and declare these power projects. I really love this tool because we're really anchoring into the why and getting the belief in our bones. So you do this before you commit to any project. The purpose for this is to qualify your projects as a power project that we can absolutely believe in and achieve. So what value does this project create for the business? How much money will this project cost? How much money will this project produce and or save for the firm? How much time will this project cost? How long until we see an ROI? Sometimes it's not within this quarter, but we absolutely have to pick this for a project and get it in motion today, even though we might not see the ROI expected for a year. But the time to plant a tree was yesterday. We have to plant these seeds. So we're clear on this. We're not going to see an ROI for about a year, but we are all A-okay because the strategic byproduct of this and the work we're doing now to lead up to seeing the ROI, we're still going to see strategic products of it, just not a full return on investment. What is our excitement level about this project? Every person, and it's okay if one person's like, I don't have a whole lot of excitement about this because I'm in production. I don't really understand marketing, but conceptually, I understand this for the good of the growth and the scaling of the business or what have you. And that's okay. But if you have a whole team of production people or high fact finders or what have you, and they're not excited about it, then we're going to have a conversation to re-anchor them into the why, or maybe it is not the project. What are the risks of this project? And does this project fit with our firm culture? It's really, really clear. So often, if you have a bunch of high quick starts, or you have a high visionary attorney or whatever it might be, and they're coming with these ideas, so-and-so in this Facebook group, or at this legal conference, or this marketing, or I saw on the listserv, this is $1 billion idea, and we need to start doing it. But it is not in alignment with our culture at all. So often I will get, once you start scaling and growing, what have you, that attorneys or team members will come to me and say, my attorney wants to add this practice area because, for example, they really want to start adding estate planning or probate because it is all the rage now and people are making money in this transactional area law. But we're criminal defense law firm. We're litigators to the bone. We are very much a trial and a court-driven practice. My attorney is a pit bull. My attorney is, just high voltage octane. We all are. We are killers to the bone. It's not going to fit your culture. I see it every day where, you have the strong arm on their website and all over their marketing, and you go down their service area and they're doing nursing home planning. I'm like, there is such incongruency here and misalignment in here. It doesn't even fit the culture at all. But we have money to play with, so what the hell? Why not? No, it's a massive distraction. It is an absolute massive distraction. So this question is so critical. Yes, there's opportunity. Yes, there's money, blah, blah, blah. We don't do things just for the money if it's going to completely confuse the marketplace, and a confused mind says no and doesn't buy. If it is not in alignment with this, I do not want to be, Susie Sweetheart on the phone. We're working with murderers. And I like to talk to them to be like, shut the F up. Listen to me, do what we're telling you to do. That's my jam. That's our culture. That's what makes us fun. That's part of our branding. We are a no BS firm. It's all over our website and our marketing, and whatever it might be. No, we're not doing nursing home planning. You get the point. So we really want to get clear on that. So then we put everything through the filter, and now we're going to put it on the 4 power project tracking sheet. It is no more than 4. no more than 4 that you can complete in a quarter. By and large, if you're anchoring to your growth days, by and large, if you are anchoring to your weekly stakeholders meeting and your marketing meeting, you 100% will complete these. 1 a month. You will complete them. Some might even just be faster. When you get in your growth days, it's really interesting. We don't have enough time to do these projects, to implement this new initiative, whatever means. When you have a law firm by design, you have time chunked out to work on this. 100% of the time it takes less time than you had thought, because you're just in your head without having that white space and dedicated time during your growth time to work on it. So identify the project. Who is the lead? Never, ever, 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 ever the attorney. Even if the attorney has to record the video, record the evergreen workshop, what have you, they're not the lead. It has to be the critical team member. Somebody has to hold them accountable. Then we're going to start identifying the actions. Just get the first actions out. And then who? Who is making the first step? The first action, who is it? It cannot be everyone. It cannot be Bob, Sue, Jim, and no. Who? One person that is taking that critical first action move. And then by when? There needs to be a due date. And then we're going to do it over and over again. Next action. And then when you put this in an Excel spreadsheet or Google Sheet on technology, Asana, Trello, whatever you want, you'll be able to keep moving it and moving it and moving it and seeing the projection of it. So again, we're going to keep doing it. And what is the goal date? So always beginning and the end of the mind. What is our completion date that we are putting a fork in this project? I will tell you, just get the dates down, just declare it in that room. What happens more often than not, when it comes to this by when area right here, we're going to be super pumped. We're excited. We're on fire. We're engaged. We typically will be like, oh, it's February 1st, March 1st. You know, everyone will always overshoot on this. Everyone will always overshoot on the completion day. I'm okay. Be ambitious, be excited, overshoot on this. But when we start tracking it, looking at it, and paying attention to it in our growth days and our weekly meetings, we're going to see that. We're like, oh boy, I took that first action and I didn't realize I got hit with massive roadblocks everywhere. So actually, that wasn't the first action. I need to do this, this, and this first. And it's going to take some time, and then you're just going to move the by when. Okay, great. It's not March 1st. It's March 17th. That's our growth day. It's a Friday. That's when we're going to do it. So it is constantly in action. It's not like you did not meet your goal date. You did not meet your completion date. That's what happens when you don't have hardwired time to keep this in motion every single week. We pull it out the week before the retreat and we're like, oh crap, we didn't do any of this. We didn't hit any of this. This is why people are like, this is a waste of time. Why are we doing these stupid retreats? So you get the point. It will change. This is just a declaration right then, right there before you leave that retreat. And it will change and it will revise, but we're getting the declaration out there. And then when we have the consistent management, we're good. The goal is that as a team member, the critical team member, the leader, facilitator, you must go back and clean this up and get it clarified after the retreat. So let me go into the action plan to really implement all of this. Homework for Module 11. Number 1, after debriefing with the attorney, you should have shared the recap video with them after this module, and you share with them the premise and the framework for quarterly strategic retreats. You're also going to send an email to everyone with proposed dates. Bring it to your weekly stakeholders meeting. Again, as I said earlier, deadline for when they get back to you. So we can hardwire in the calendar your quarterly strategic retreats for the rest of the year. Check, done. Now you're going to calendar time as a firm leader to send out retreat prep work forms 2 weeks in advance of the retreat. Again, give deadlines, schedule those out in conjunction with the retreats on your calendar. Done. Check. Don't have to think about it again. Calendar time for the firm leader to compile results from the prep work. So you want to put that on your calendar. You get the forms back on the due date. You see the due date on your calendar is June 1st, whatever it might be. Then you're going to carve out time to be able to compile all those to begin your retreat prep for the agenda and anchoring to the suggested agenda in the power projects. And then you're going to calendar time post-retreat. Remember, pre, during, and post. To compile the 4 power projects and make certain to have it on the agenda for an update in the weekly stakeholders meeting and growth days to work on your projects. Otherwise, they will never happen without the calendaring and dedicated, uninterrupted, focused time on your growth days. And then rinse and repeat. And pre-calendar this for every quarterly retreat. Post-calendar everything after the retreat. And now it's set it and forget it. Calendar time after you get done with Module 12, where we're headed next, for weekly learning and growing. Start exploring the academy trainings and modules outside of this 12-week foundational program and putting that in your ears. And make sure you don't cancel once the 12 weeks is done. There are over 300 tools in the back end of that academy to be your pocket coach, to be your continual personal and professional development and improvement. So that's a wrap for 11. Week 11, Module 11. Don't forget to share the recap of the video with the attorney, as well as getting everything calendared, pre, during, and post. Stay in the habit of attending Open Coaching and Growing Hour and the CRM training if you're still deploying that project every single week after you complete that final module, 12. Because you will see there are endless continual training and growing modules in the academy. Get in the habit of calendaring time for your personal development. Pick a pain point that you're struggling with. And I'm certain there is a training process in the back end of that academy to support you. And then, of course, continue to pay attention to the calendar as we have live events constantly and continue to attend. Finish strong, make it a rock star week, and we'll see you in Module 12, which is the end of the line.
Control freak, it's what my staff thinks. They may be right, because this treadmill of dread running through my head keeps me up at night. I'm so tired of micromanaging. How do I train, manage, and lead? I can't find time to be visionary, head down in the weeds. We're gonna tighten up this operation. We're gonna build a strong foundation. No more chaos and confusion. We'll build a team that brings solutions. I see what could be, and I can't wait. Law firm admin boot camp is the way. We're signing up today. Law firm admin boot camp is the way.